Hello, you are welcome on to Woman Without Limits. This is Lady Bishop, Kathy Kiuna. And guess what? We continue where we stopped. What a message. If you didn't listen last week, you better listen. Go back there and then join us today because it was absolutely powerful. Watch this.
There's a space in my life that I really was not able to connect with my mom. Because see now, the one that was present in my life was my grandmother.
One of my best friends actually commits suicide. Two of them attempt. He comes over lunchtime and he tells me, Yoniaje, we talk, and then he's jovial, and then he goes. When I'm coming, I used to come back around 8 in the evening. I'm seeing the girlfriend waiting for me. And he's like, Maurice, come. I said, okay, let me put my books. She came, grabbed my books and threw them and said, wachana nazo. Hey. Come. I say, what's up? And mentions the name of the friend and told me that your friend has committed suicide. I'm like, what?
Don't let what you've done hinder you. Don't you let where you've been hinder you. Don't let what they say hinder you. Don't you let your past hinder you. You're a woman without limits. You're a woman without limits. There's nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has for you. You're a woman without limits. You're a woman without limits. Woman without limits. Na 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 na. Woman without limits. Woman.
So I go
Yeah.
and I find cops in a crowd.
What?
So I'm taken to go look at him and I see him. So anyway, later the cops are like, wapi marafiki? So I'm called, this is a best friend. And the others, we are told, beba, mwili peleka. So we carried the body, took the body to
The Land Rover.
the Land Rover. Was it a Land Rover? It was a Mahindra. Those,
Yeah, those police. Yeah.
pickups. So, and the other one took rat poison. Another one, and I'm like,
Hey,
"Ish."
just
And
among your best friends.
all of them are guys, and all of them are coming from single parents.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah. So this my friend tells me one day, you know, he has a relationship, so he's going home at 7:30,
Yeah.
and he's knocking the door. The house girl is sent by the mom. Mwendo mwambie arudi mahali ametoka. So now he's being torn between, you know, because the girl was working.
Yeah.
He is in college, was doing flying. He's in college. The only time he has is evening, 5:30. So he walks the girl home. They have coffee. He goes home at around 7:30.
Yeah.
The mother doesn't want. So the mother wouldn't listen. So he was chased. He was told, go back.
Yeah.
So I remember that that night he slept at my cube. We slept together with him, and you know, and he told me, he says, you know, hii familia yetu inakosaga tu opinion ya mwanaume. Sema mama kisema amesema.
What?
So he told me later that, you know, vile alifukuzwa. So I'm like, wewe kwani unakuja saa 3 umetoka wapi? Where are you from?
Yeah.
I said, madhe, sijui what. Anyway, a few months later is when he committed suicide.
Wow.
So that was like a shock
Yeah.
for me, and a huge shock.
Yeah.
But you know, then God is dealing with my heart like this, like this. So in 94, God calls me into ministry. It happens like, and now that's a testimony most people hear.
Yeah.
That's a testimony most people. Now from there is what people know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he calls me. I mean,
Into
he
ministry.
He deals with me. I would feel like my heart is about to explode. I'm walking, my tears are filling my eyes. Remember, I'm an introvert, so I'm spending most of the day in my cube by myself. Sometimes I would even draw the curtains are not even drawn.
Eh,
Yes.
you're just there in the dark.
I'm there by myself, just like, wow, what's this happening? And then one day I just, you know, give in and
And you say, okay.
yes.
Yeah.
And that's where my ministry calling begins.
At that time, 94.
Now to answer you, Mom, about my dad,
Yeah.
we were good. You know, I'm managing his shop.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no
There's no
wahala.
issue. Yeah.
But the day he heard that I'm going now to, because now I've gotten this calling,
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing? I'm getting back to the church, the Pentecostal church, nothing to do with Catholic anymore, you know. I had to make a stand. So when I went and I told him,
Yeah.
and I actually started to preach to him,
Eh.
and I told him, you know, I feel like I want to be a preacher. Kaniambia hataki kusikia hiyo upuzi. Kaniambia hataki kusikia hiyo maneno kwa nyumba yake tena.
Upuzi hiyo.
Yes.
Hataki kusikia.
Yeah, so that's where now issues began. Oh, you're following your mother. You are like this.
Because
You
your
are like
mother
that.
was very born again.
Yeah. My mom was so born again. She would pray like for 4 or 5 hours. You know, and then she would anoint us with oil.
Yeah.
She would pray for us.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm called into ministry.
Yeah.
My dad doesn't like it. And now I know, I can remember
Yeah.
what happened the last time he told me that. I can remember. He took me from church and I started to go to Catholic and, you know. And now this time he's saying, you know, I thought wewe ndio utafanya mambo yangu na wewe and blah, blah, blah. He's like, he's harsh,
Yeah.
but he's also sweet talking.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, a boy should follow the father.
Yeah.
And, you know, and
Yeah.
now me, I have decided, in fact, I started fasting and praying, consecrating myself
Yeah.
to God and stuff like that. And at this time, I'm finishing college. Actually, I'm just waiting for graduation,
Yeah.
you know. And I start to go for meetings. I go for FEM, crusades, conferences, you know, other meetings, Apostle Kaios, and all of the meetings.
Right.
So nimekuwa sasa kichwa ngumu.
Utaenda.
I'm following this throbbing voice.
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
not going to just
All
go
my
into
friends
a
were
church.
like, shh. They gave me weeks. They said, pana, yes, I uendagi swimo, sijui what. I just disconnected drastically like that.
From everything.
From everything.
Yeah.
It was that
deep. You just wanted to follow after God.
Because it came with such a force. And I really wanted to understand, what is this,
Yeah.
you know? And the aspect of especially in 89, the church, there's an important aspect that I would like to really add that's very important.
Yeah.
When I'm just preparing to do my exam,
Yeah.
you know, high school, the bishop or the apostle of the church we used to attend passes on, Apostle Mrima. And
Yeah.
there's now that
Vacuum.
not vacuum, there's a lot of words, prophecies, and you know, stuff. Then the church splits. It splits, and you know, there are guys who are left like, You know, a lot of people were left like, okay, what's
Confused.
going on?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
And that's, for me, the Apostle Mrima was the first example of a Pentecostal preacher. He was a first example. Of course, the pastor then was Robert Mzomba,
Yeah.
now Bishop, Archbishop.
Yeah.
But he was the first example because I was there when the church is moving
Yeah.
to Shan Cinema.
Right.
You know, I would go sit there, listen to the music, listen to them praying, pray from there, because it was opposite the post office.
Right.
It was my duty to go collect letters. So I would collect letters and go across.
Yeah.
So that car instability wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I threw a lot of people
Off,
So
yeah.
now here I am, I've gotten a call and I'm like, hey, my dad is telling me whatever. So that's where the issues really began. And he became so forceful
Yeah.
when I think he really wanted me to hear him, and I understand him.
Yeah.
He became so forceful. He wrote me letters. Oh, you're not my son. If you don't follow me, you're not my... I have 3 letters.
From him?
Yeah.
Saying you're not my son.
Yes.
You don't follow me.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes. So, yeah. So,
Hey.
all of that.
Yeah.
You get. He says, you know, I'll never inherit. You know, he just spoke stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Was
He's
angry.
really... Remember, my firstborn brother is into crime.
Yeah.
At this point, we don't even know where he is. He's all over the place,
Yeah.
in and out of prison.
Yeah.
Then he is the second born,
Yeah.
who seemed like he was promising. He's just gone into
Even
university.
uni. Yeah.
He's just graduating.
Yeah.
Now he started to scream at the market, in the marketplaces. You know, I'm like,
So one is mad for real.
yeah,
The other one is crazy for Jesus.
yeah, yeah. But no, you know, my dad doesn't know it's for Jesus.
Yes. He
He's thinking,
thinks
what is this thing that my son has gotten into?
Yeah.
You know, and like, what? I'm supposed to just start getting a
The
job.
one that looked like a promise
Yes.
has now
He's
turned
gone
around.
off, you know, and I'm like, me, you know, I plunged into, you know, and I remember, you know, those days I was swimming crazy. Senior mom used to come baptize people at Jamhuri.
Yeah.
We had this van with the...
I was
with
one
the,
of them.
Yes, with the
That you
picture.
baptized at Jamhuri.
Yeah, you remember this van that had the picture of a knack.
Yeah.
Yes, and the long 505,
Yes.
504
Yes.
Peugeot. So I used to be in charge because the lifesaver used to leave me with the keys. You know, he used to leave me with the keys.
Yeah.
So he would go, you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes the ministry would come and I would open and be like, hey, tokeni kwa pool, tokeni.
Yeah.
And people are there, you know, people are being baptized and they are coming out speaking in other tongues.
Yeah.
Others are slain.
Right.
They are like, what a sight, what's going on here? So I used to be at the top board, the diving board.
Yeah.
We would compete to see who would dive in fast after all this drama. You know? Well, after all these, watu wanaanguka, sijui wanaongea, you know? By the way, I'm speaking in tongues, but I'm like, I've never seen it in this fashion. You get?
So now you want to dive to see?
Yes. I'm telling you, when the last person is coming out, dive. And I'm like, okay, where, why is it not happening? Like, you know?
Like the rest.
So that happened several times.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that is somehow affecting. So one day I just explode.
In tongues?
In tongues, yes. What I did, I called my mom.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was happening because I'm feeling, you know, I came to that evening, I felt like I would die. Felt like, you know, something had gripped me.
Yeah.
So I called my mom. Told my mom, hi, my mom, kuja uniombea. You know? So my interpretation is like,
something bad.
I want to get saved or what's going on. I'm feeling this presence, I'm feeling this, you know, because then I was just born again, but you know, here and there, Catholic,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you get.
Yeah.
But now I'm feeling when I'm locking myself in, it's because there's this ambience that I'm really basking. And I'm just quiet in the room, just
Yeah.
like zooming, looking at the ceiling.
Yeah.
There's nothing I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm just locked up.
You're just locked up. You're just there.
And so I called my mom. My mom runs to me and she's about to hug me. And I just explode. I am screaming in a language, in tongues. Of course, I knew tongues.
Yeah.
But it was like a well had just broken. And after that, I started fasting like crazy because I'm trying to understand
What just
what's
happened?
happening to me.
Yeah.
And that went on with me for decades now. Yeah, because, you know, you'd get to pray and I'm like, Mom, my mom would come and tell me, omba pole pole.
Eh.
Yeah.
Because utaenda kabisa uende.
Oh, 3 in the morning, I'm awake and I'm like,
Eh.
wow, 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 wow. You know, it wasn't a nice one.
Eh.
The one that people call Gucci prayers.
Eh.
No.
Haikukuwa
You remember
designer
those
wote.
days when people went to Karura and whatever to pray?
Yeah.
They would pray, you would hear people from across the valley.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It was like that.
It was like that. It continued. Even when I moved from Gara, I would just get to start praying and it's like a gushing forth. Yeah. People would say, you know, unajua mahali pa watu panaombangu. That's
You
how
would just
I
gush
would
out.
just like, I would feel like there's something I need to bring out.
Yeah.
That's how he apprehended me to
Yeah.
ministry. Yeah.
Wow.
And
so
then
you
with
couldn't
that,
even explain it to your father. He couldn't
How?
understand.
And then he's telling me, wachana na hiyo. Yeah, you know, just leave it.
Yes.
You know, let's.
Tuenda isili uuze.
Yes, and I'm like, what? You can't even understand what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So I started to go to City Park, right here, you know, in Nairobi, City Park. I would be there like half the day, Saturday,
Praying.
in the trees, because now it would be night and day.
That you're praying.
Yes. I would be in a place, then I would feel that urge. And I would stand up and just walk out.
And go and pray.
And people don't know where I've gone.
Yeah.
I would go into City Park.
To look for a place.
And I had a long, we used to call it a shaft, a booty, long one for keshas and stuff. I would go put it down and I would pray. I would leave the place when I felt
okay again.
I felt some relief.
My goodness. So he apprehended you proper.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's good he did that. Because me and my dad were like this. We were like this. We were good friends. Actually, our differences started then.
With salvation.
Salvation.
You've been called by God.
Yes.
And he just couldn't understand it.
Yes.
So where are you, Pastor Pauline, at that time? What's going on there?
Oh,
With your life? Have you guys connected? Are you even together? Are you married now?
no, we're not married yet.
Yeah.
We're not married yet. We got married after salvation.
After salvation?
Yeah, but we were relating before.
Okay.
Yeah, remember we met in high school.
Yeah.
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 So at this time, nothing much is happening in my life because, like I said, I'm taking care of my brother. Now my mom is single again. You know,
Okay.
she's single again.
Yeah.
So I'm taking care of my brother, doing a bit of this, doing a bit of that. I wouldn't say there was so much really happening in my life.
So at this time you have two brothers, right?
At this time, I have two brothers.
Yeah.
Our second born and the third born.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say most of the times I was at home, taking care of my little brother.
So when do you now again reconnect with your husband?
No, this time we are still relating.
Yeah.
As I'm taking care of my brother.
Yeah.
As he's having issues
With the dad.
With the dad.
Are you crying out too?
Yeah,
Is he lamenting?
Oh, yes.
Eh.
Yeah. So I knew what was happening. I knew what was happening with the dad and all that. So I also get born again. It's amazing that I would say that when the Bible says that God separated us before the foundations of the earth, it's so true, because as God was dealing with him, he was also dealing with me separately. You know, I would go to a place, and remember that's when Senior Mom would have crusades at Uhuru Park.
Yeah.
I would go sit there, and then she's asking people to come and get born again. I would cry, but I wouldn't go to the front. I wouldn't go to the front, but I would feel that I really need to do this thing. But I never got myself to doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, like, my husband, it's amazing. He got saved by himself. I got saved by myself. Yes. Yeah.
Just like that?
Just like that. Yeah. So, I would say that God started maybe the pursuit at that particular time, because as he's running away, you know, waiting for people to swim so that he can dive in. I also didn't want things to do.
You know, that is so funny.
Yeah.
Waiting for them to come out and dive and
Yes.
see what they were collecting.
Yeah, so God was also dealing with me.
Yeah.
So now I also get born again. And after now getting born again, then we get married. He graduated in 94. We got married the same year.
Oh.
Yeah.
94.
Yes.
Which month?
We got married in
September.
September.
I forgive you.
So you see,
I know, right?
what is happening now, actually my wife is the one who caused me to know about FEM. Yeah, because me, I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, so my wife came and told me, kuna huyu mama anahubiri na naita watu na jina. I'm like, what? Yeah. So I'm like,
Mom has affected too many
Oh,
people.
yeah.
She has affected too many.
Too many.
so me, I was like, okay, let me go look at this.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going. Then somewhere along the line, I start, you know, I'm involved now, ministry, I'm volunteering, doing sound, doing this, whatever was there to do.
Yeah.
I started interpreting. So my wife, not my wife, Pauline those days,
Yeah.
I would tell her, you know, I'll be in this meeting, I'll be in this crusade, I'll be Nut Hall, Charter Hall, like that.
Yeah.
So those days, after what happened, I was not missing the meetings that were going on in KICC, in Charter Hall. I remember went to meetings like Move On, Crisco. We went to all FEM conferences. We later, when we got married, later we became partners.
Yeah.
And we went to Jokayo in City Hall.
Yeah.
I started to going for Maurice Cerulo, GSN. I engrossed myself in anywhere the word of God was being preached.
Right.
Thank God I didn't get into any cults or whatever. But I got, if I had, there's this person, man, is preaching, you know, and my mom would tell me friends, and, you know, we had good friends.
Yeah.
We had very good friends that, you know, you hear there's a meeting coming up, you are there. And then we would serve. So I started to interpret almost in any meeting that
They
came.
would call on you.
Yeah, so my wife would come.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's why those were our dating venues.
Yeah.
those were dating venues.
When he's interpreting.
Yeah,
So
we
it
went,
was,
we'd go, that's why we date.
Oh.
In meetings.
yeah.
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 Those are our dates. I'll make some pancakes and carry something, and then I'll go sit there, wait for him to minister, to interpret, and then after that would have the pancakes. That's how we dated.
Sometimes dry. If I had money, we would share soda. Or if I had more money, she would have a bottle and me, I'd have mine.
Oh, so each would have their own.
Yes.
If you had the
The money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eh.
Yeah. Money was very scarce.
Money was scarce. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So fast forward, you've now gotten married. How was the relationship between now? Already, your husband is in bad books with the father.
Yes.
Isn't it? Then now you've brought a girl. How was the relationship?
Oh, with my dad-in-law, I would say in very few words, in 5 years, he didn't say hello to me. When we got married, we were living at their place.
The
At,
plot.
Yes.
where the place that dad had bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Gara. So that's where we started life.
Right.
Remember, there was not much money.
Yes.
So that's where we started life. So you can imagine, we're living in the same compound, okay? But my dad-in-law did not say hello to me for 5 years. Would just pass each other like this.
You're joking.
Yes, and wouldn't even say hello for 5 years. Yes.
You are definitely joking.
5
obvious.
years. He didn't say hello
It's
to
the
me.
truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in the
The
same.
reason we stayed there, Mom, is because my mom,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
You know, my dad wants to move my mom. My mom is not clear where she's being taken because my dad is into drinking now. When we were growing up, my dad wasn't drinking. So he now starts drinking.
Yeah.
And there's a lot, you know, there's a lot that happens with drinking.
Yeah.
There are other people involved
Of
and
course.
stuff like that.
Wow.
So my mom is like, so my mom tells me, no, don't go. Because if you go,
That's
you
it
know,
for her.
yeah. So I stayed there. We actually moved the year. My mom passed on in September 98.
I wanted to ask you that as a
Okay, as we
something.
continue.
So I don't want you to say it in
To preempt.
passing because I need, you know, for the viewers also to hear
Okay.
that story of your mom. But so you stayed there for 5 years.
Yes.
Not really, like 4 years.
That 4 years.
4 years.
But for 5 years, he said nothing to you.
Yes. He said nothing to me. Remember, I have given birth to his grandchild in the same compound.
Has he
Yeah.
said hello to the grandchild?
It was very interesting.
Hi, Jesus.
It was
Now,
very
Mom.
interesting.
Are you feeling anything?
A lot. But what do I do? What do I do?
Are you
That's,
facing
that's,
another
that's the
level?
daughter-in-law,
Yeah.
but even me is not talking.
Yeah, I wish I was talking.
The
not
first
talking.
time we sat with him to sitting like this to talk was we were planning my mom's burial.
What?
Yeah, because then, you know, I started working.
Yeah.
You know, I've graduated.
Yeah.
Then I got a job somewhere in an industrial area.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have money. So I'm telling my mom, you know, she says, no, you just relax first. So I'm meeting my dad in town. And I have one of the friends, you know,
Yeah.
I have a friend. We are walking around lunch hour.
Yeah.
We are going to Charter Hall for lunch hour. Or, you know, I'm going back to the office and I
Yeah.
told, no, you're Mbuyu, you're ni Buddha. I'm like, what? That's your dad. Namnapita na hivyo. So it was tough. It was tough. It was,
Munapitana hakuna kusema kitu. Wow.
yeah. Then around that time also, there's one of my nephews is born. One of my nephews is born. So my mom is taking care of my nephew.
Yeah.
And now Bella.
From now, your other sibling.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
Yeah.
from
Your
my sister.
your brother, your sister.
My
okay.
sister. So, and now there's Bella. Bella is a Kataini girl.
Yeah.
So this boy
Yeah.
is named after my dad.
Yeah.
And now Jerry is named after my mom.
Please don't tell me he spoils.
So she both are grandchildren.
Yes.
So they go towards the grandfather. And the grandfather says in mother tongue, "Oyo tigana nake otiwito ni wa Gacheru." Meaning, huyu wachana naye, huyu si wetu.
Usi wetu ni wa Gacheru.
Yeah.
Huyu ndio wetu.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That one I wasn't told.
Yeah.
I heard with this.
You heard with your own ears?
Yeah.
He's not saying from a distance.
No. See, I'm telling you, I've been even written letters.
That
I've
you're
been
not even
told
the
that
son.
I will never inherit. Words have been spoken. Now it's getting to.
Then now you seeing him not saying even hello to your wife, what is that making you feel?
Of course, it's bad. You know, everyone desires a relationship with the father.
Yeah.
And especially as you start to grow into responsibility. But again, I know that what he wants is beyond the debate.
Yeah. Because he wants you to not serve God.
He's not serving God,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah.
He is not to get saved. This church, I have left the church of the apostles and the church of that Jesus left.
Yes.
You get? So
Yeah.
that's the notion that I have followed my mom to another. In fact, he even told me, you tell your pastor, you know, I want to talk to him.
Yeah.
I want to tell him to leave my family. he thought that all Pentecostal churches
Yeah.
are under one
Oh.
bishop.
Oh.
Yeah, you get. So
Yeah.
my mom is going to Dandora
Yeah.
and Bishop Zomba. Me, because of convenience, yeah, I'm going to what is this cinema?
City Hall?
No.
Embassy.
There's a
Shan.
cinema. No,
Not Shan.
Embassy.
Reverend Morando.
Okay.
Maurice Morando Embassy Cinema.
Embassy. Okay.
That's how we were
Yeah.
attending church.
Right.
Even Sundays, because we just walk across.
Right.
So we are not even in the same church. But my dad thinks he's one pastor. So just call him, tell him, you know, I want him to leave my son alone.
Yeah.
You know. So he sent me all kinds of people. We had a distant relative, a Mukurino, a Mukurino who actually used to smoke. And he's the one we sent to me to advise me because, you know,
And he's a smoker.
the smoke. So I'm like, this is weird, you know. Yeah, so there was real pressure.
Yeah.
Real pressure. I really had to stiffen my neck to say, no.
Because it's not like you're being rude
No.
to your dad.
Yeah.
It's that you have to follow after God. He's
You
the one
have.
calling you.
And then, you know, before when I was in high school, coming from high school, I know how it affected.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, I'm selling cigarettes. All of a sudden, stuff is happening, you know, and I'm like, this is not what I want.
Yeah.
This is not what I want.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I've matured a bit. I know somehow I'm interacting with mom, I'm interacting with believers,
Yeah.
I'm interacting with other people. I've started to know this, you know, I'm no
What's
longer the
right and-
18-year-old
Yes,
kijana.
exactly.
Yeah, I've started to know this will affect you, you know. So I decided to take that stand. And that stand is what really messed up.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Remember, Mom, at this time, remember I wasn't raised by a dad. I've learned to survive
All by yourself.
all by myself. And then this introduction to a father figure.
Is worse than any other.
So I'm wondering, this thing of fatherhood is a scam.
He's proving more.
This thing about fathers, forget it.
Forget it. It doesn't work.
Yeah, now at first, no dad at all.
Yeah.
Now my first introduction to one I can call dad.
He cannot
He's
say
not
hello.
even, he cannot say hello to me. I'm like,
Forget it.
forget it.
Yeah.
Who wants fathers?
Now, he confirmed to you
He confirmed
that
to
your
me.
fears were correct.
Yes.
No one needs these people.
Yeah, but it didn't work now. I would say that. You see now, like now how I started life.
Yeah.
You see now I'm learning to survive.
Yeah.
Because there is no attention here, you know.
Yeah.
With my mom, there's no attention. Now remember now your mother is a figure in your life. Now I get into another figure in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this is what dads are supposed
At
to
least,
be.
yeah.
Then it works out like this. So I'm like, okay. I think this thing
was never meant.
It was never meant. Just learn to live by yourself. Just learn to survive.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. So, tell me about your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was her life like?
My mom, she got born again. We grew up Catholics. I don't remember us not going to church, even when we were kids. And even when we were Catholics, Mom used to bring a certain lady they used to work with. They had a fellowship.
Yeah.
My mom used to love prayer, but we used to pray Rosary and Our Father, Hail Mary and stuff. But then I had had an encounter when I was 10 years old. And my first consciousness of being saved, I told my mom, mimi nimeokoka at 10. So my mom takes me to Holy Family Basilica. I join catechism. I start to receive Eucharist. After that, I become what do you call,
Page boy?
confirmed.
Okay.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
And I'm given a second Christian name, you know. Then I'm like, you have 2 ways now, because the fathers are counseling you now.
Yeah.
They're becoming like mentors. So you can either join the choir, become an altar boy. So I decided to join the choir. I joined the choir. And all this is with the support of my mom. Because I'm trying to paint a picture of my mom as a very religious, at first,
Yeah.
very religious person. So she's supporting me. I'm coming, my sister and I, we are coming all the way from St. Teresa's. St. Teresa's primary. We are still in primary. So we go all the way to Holy Family Basilica on Thursdays for choir practice. You know, when the former Pope came, we were in the choir that sang, John Pope Paul II. When he came, we were in that choir that sang for him.
Yeah.
So that became my way of, you know. But I started seeing, you know, the fathers are smoking, and I'm like, there's no change, you know. So when I went to high school, is when now I thought, this thing is not working. And of course, with the break dance and all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mom grew in that background. In 86, my mom gets born again.
Right.
And my sister, the following year, I think. No, my sister got born again before, because she got born again in Form 1
Yeah.
in high school.
Yeah.
Then my mom gets born again. My mom doesn't know my sister is born again, you know, because it's secretive. Because it's now a Catholic home, and of course dad is also not very comfortable with mom going for prayer, you know, and stuff like that. Anyway, so my mom gets born, used to bring this, let me start there. She used to bring this lady, called Namwita Mama wa Maombi, because she used to speak in tongues and pray, call us and pray for us. We don't understand what's going on. We are just gazing around as we are
As
being
kids.
laid hands on. Then mom gets born again. She's filled with the Holy Ghost. Now she gets to know what salvation is. She plunges into it, becomes very active, fasting, praying. She becomes an intercessor. So that was her life.
Of intercessory.
Intercessory, integrity. You know, mom was ever in meetings, ever in conferences. I mean, she loved God.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. She was a woman of integrity. I remember my brother is in crime, so he's caught in some stuff.
Yeah.
Because sometimes he would be caught, one of his friends is killed, shot, or lynched. So he's caught, he's been beaten by a mob. He's bleeding from the ears, he's bleeding. I mean, his face is swollen.
Yeah.
And my mom is told, you know what, leta 200 tumwachilie, bring 200. My brother is in handcuffs.
Yeah.
My mom says, no,
Yeah.
takuja kumuona huko. She refuses to bribe. Yeah. So we had to go to Pangani police station to follow up on my brother. And yeah, so she was
She was a woman of integrity.
integrity. She loved purity and stuff. So she would gather us together to pray for us. Sometimes you come from the cube, you're going to the kitchen, you're going to get your plate of food. Unakutana nae, you meet her, that's when she's finishing. And her hands are dripping in oil. So the first person she meets, she smears you. You are like this with a plate of mchele and dengu. You are like, you know, she's speaking, I paralyze, I scatter, I destroy, and you are like this. And you're like, Mom, ntaangusha sahani, you know. Yeah, so that was, so whoever was, sometimes I would leave the cube, leave my friends in the cube, and I'll go get my supper. And I'll come back with my face shining. And he said, aya niache kwani. Yeah.
Because she laid hands on you.
Yeah. Then sometimes it would be us just relaxing. My brother's gone to the house. He comes back looking like, ni aje umekutana na madhe? Yeah, so she anointed all of us. She loved to pray.
You did not
Yeah.
want her to pray for food.
Eh.
Oh. She'll say that we need to pray for food. We'll
Yeah.
be like, oh my
That's it.
God.
It will get
yeah,
cold.
It will get cold.
She has entered into intercession.
She would pray for us to go sleep,
Eh.
and she would have to wake us up.
Yeah, this time I'm married. Remember, we're in the same compound. We're in the same compound. And then you go to a place, and then when you start praying, my sister will be like, "Hey, mommy, don't pray for too long."
Yeah.
Or she would tell her.
Okay, mommy, don't pray for too long. Because you're like, let's bless the food. I'm like, okay, all of us now, we have to go back and warm the food.
How was your relationship with her?
Oh, amazing.
Eh.
Amazing. I mean, the memories I have with my mom-in-law are just beautiful.
Oh.
Never argued, never had a fight with her
Yeah.
for the time. And remember when they living in the same compound?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
She was a beautiful woman.
Wow.
Oh, she was a beautiful soul.
Peaceful, peacemaker.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
she was just an amazing woman. I cannot say, the way people say, I don't know, when people talk about mother-in-laws,
Yeah.
I say now, no, when it gets to that, now I have nothing much to say
Yeah.
because my mom-in-law was just
Wow,
amazing.
she was
amazing.
Wow, that's beautiful. So what happened in the end? Like you said, she went to be with the Lord.
Yeah, my mom had, as I told you, she used to pray and fast and pray and fast. So this particular day, remember we're still in the same compound. So
Yeah.
I'm meeting her. She's preparing to go. I know they've been on a 7-day fast.
Yeah.
And we have done together 40, 21, you know.
Yeah.
So 7 days is nothing.
It's
So
nothing.
anyway,
Yeah.
so she leaves and she's going to the office and she tells me, you know, I'm not going to come in the evening because we are going to be, you know, going for prayers with some ladies. They used to do chain prayer. So they used to pray together with some ladies. So they are breaking the fast.
Yeah.
And in those days, when you're breaking a fast with people, you have to meet with them and say the prayer of agreement so that you start
And break
eating. You don't just
together.
start eating.
Yeah.
So that was what happening.
Yeah.
Was happening. It was on a Friday.
Yeah.
So she goes, and me the following day is a Saturday. So I just do what I used to do.
Yeah.
So I take my Bible, I take my kabuti,
Yeah.
my overcoat.
Yeah.
I tell my wife I've gone to pray. So I came to City Park, you know, that corner I used to pray from.
Yeah.
So me, I'm praying. So the friends of my mom come to look for us.
Yeah.
And they come to my wife and where is Maurice? He's gone for prayer. So my wife has not been to City Park.
Yeah.
You know, remember she has a small baby.
Yeah.
So she's not been to City Park. So how does she find where I am?
Yeah.
So when she
And there
came,
are no phones.
yes, when she came, just started at City Park across Forest Road. There's a road we used to use just near Gymkhana.
Yeah.
That is, she started on that road.
Yeah.
When she started on that road, she started hearing my voice from a distance. So she followed the voice, you know. So she followed my voice, and then I'm praying. I hear somebody tapping me, and I'm like, God has appeared. Jesus has appeared. Like,
Because you are deep in this.
oh, I'm gone. I'm totally gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I look and it's my wife, and I'm like, what's up? Tikuja haraka, you know, mom is gone. I said, what? So sudden, you know.
Yeah.
She wasn't sick. She wasn't in hospital. So
She
when
was
I
not sick at all.
yeah,
She was
so,
in an overnight.
yeah.
She was
So when I came home, I met the ladies,
Hey.
and they are the ones now who are recounting. She came from the office. She used to work at Kilimo House, Ministry of Agriculture. At the end of the day, she just came, you know, went to the bank, National Bank. So she used to bank, get some money. She's walking. She walks right to where You know, there's a building that had a prayer room in town.
Yeah.
That's where they were.
Yeah.
So they share, they talk, they have some tea
Yeah.
before they begin to pray. Around 10, they begin to pray. Around midnight, my mom says, this room is very stuffy. It's too hot. So she leans over and opens the window. And after she opens the window for there to be some air,
Yeah.
she paces like this 2-3 times and then she falls. She's like collapsed.
Yeah.
And the other ladies are like, Aya, what's happening? So they start to fan her,
Yeah.
whatever, look for taxi, what's going on.
Yeah.
She's entered a coma. So they get a taxi. It's around 1-ish to Kenyatta Hospital. And, you know, they're there praying, paralyzing, scattering, calling her, you know, binding death and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Now, the doctor who came in the morning, early in the morning, these ladies, is going to be a problem. So he gives them a prescription to go and buy the medicine as they inform the family.
Yeah.
Sema yuko sawa, go buy this, and then this dawa as you inform the family, and then you come back as we take care of her. But she's in a coma. But she's still like breathing,
she's
there's
breathing.
a pulse,
Yeah.
but she's unconscious.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they decide to come look for us. So I'm given that paper. And I'm like, they went to look for the medicine. And those days is medicine for 5 shillings. Like, you know, Piriton or something, an aspirin.
Yeah.
And then me, I'm like, how can somebody in a coma actually take tablets?
Tablets, yeah.
It's later that I understood they were just getting rid of them. Because then they were praying. You know, these are now intercessors.
Yeah.
They were praying, they were shaking up the whole world.
Yeah.
So they had to be sent away. So they were given
Something just
something
to get them
just
away.
to get them.
Yeah.
So when they informed me, I rushed. We, of course, went with them. Took a matatu. You know, I sent a message for my dad and my brother. They were not around.
Yeah.
But me, I went.
Yeah.
When I went, I was ushered into the room. I just saw her body, identified her, and, you know, confirmed she's the one. And my dad came later. My dad wouldn't see her. She couldn't. And my brother, it was too much.
Yeah, because she wasn't sick. You know?
My dad alijishika tu.
Yeah.
And I like, yeah,
Yeah.
it was really affected.
Yeah.
It was really
What
affected.
did that do to you as the son, and you knew she was a prayer warrior and all that? What did that do to you?
It's not easy because now, by the time that is happening, is actually, I'm in full-time ministry. It's 98, September. July, September, I went to full-time. She's a woman I would go to. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anyone. She brought me books. She wrote me. Even today I have papers of scriptures.
That she wrote to?
Yeah, she would write. I would ask a question. Ubaya pombe ni nini? Wapi Bible imesema watu wasikunywe pombe? You know, she would come with a list. One to those that linger long with red eyes and do not be drunk with wine. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So actually our afternoons on Sundays, when we didn't have, like when there was no crusade or conference, you know, she would come to our room and we would discuss the end times, we would discuss all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we would do Bible studies with her. So even at that time, I was working in 98, I was working at Koinange Street. And as I was working, I would feel like that feeling, you know, that presence of God. I feel I want to cry, can't cry. I feel like I want to explode. So I would go to the staff washroom. I would cover the seat and I would lean there and weep. And I would ask God, what are you doing? What's going on? So I'll go back and call my mom and say, Mom, Miss China feel aje. You know, we grew up speaking Sheng.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to her in Swahili and Sheng. Mami sijui na feel aje. Mi na feel hii kazi mi sitaifanya. I won't be in this job for the next three months.
Yeah.
The day I told her, by the end of that month, because already I'm feeling this thing, and I'm earning.
Yeah.
I wasn't earning much.
Yeah.
I think I was making 10,000
Yeah.
in '98,
Yes.
and that was, it seemed like a lot. But
Yeah.
anyway, then I would buy her dengu, perishable, non-perishables, drinking chocolate, and then I would take that money and go hire Charter Hall, or hire City Hall, or Grand Holiday, and hire sound, and I would preach my entire salary in 2 hours. Then we'd start to believe God again.
Oh, you would preach it in 2 hours?
Yes. Then I would take money, those days printing posters,
Yeah.
posters that were black and white.
Yeah.
The paper was like newspaper,
Yeah.
paper, cheap paper.
Yeah.
So it cost us 1,500,
Yeah.
1,200.
Yeah.
I would paste them. I remember there was a time we were arrested.
The team were arrested.
Me and her.
You, the two of you?
Yes. We were putting
For
posters
pasting.
for defacement.
For pasting.
Yeah.
Your posters.
Yeah.
In the city.
In the city. So we'll take.
Where did they take you?
No, I mean, they just left us.
Oh.
Yeah, they just thought that these guys are just like, they couldn't get anything from us. We didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was midnight. So we would do it at night. Both of us, we would get kasuku. You remember kasuku?
Yes.
We get her own kasuku and my kasuku. And my own posters, we would paste them around 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Announcing the meeting. And then we'll go home and wait for people to come for the meeting.
Right.
Sometimes they would come a few.
Yeah.
Sometimes they wouldn't come.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would come a little kidogo,
Yes.
like that. But we kept on going.
But you kept on going.
Yes.
That's where we were coming now into ministry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that time you're in full time. You're also in full time. You're working together.
Yeah.
So they would come. When they wouldn't come, would you be discouraged?
Of course, there's that feeling of, I would have loved to see people, but you still kept going. We kept on going. Yeah, we did it every month until I lost the job. When I lost the job, I didn't have now my money.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I would do missions.
Yeah.
I started the itinerant ministry schools, colleges. Those are the days that you would go into a matatu, into a mission with only fare one way, and believe God is going to provide for you to come back. It became our life for the next. We entered into a 10-year wilderness.
10 years. Tell me, Pastor Pauline, in your explanation, how that wilderness looked like.
Oh, it was a bad place. Sometimes now I look back and I wonder how we survived.
How many kids did you have then?
Then we had Bella.
Okay.
Yeah,
You only had Bella?
We had Bella.
Okay.
Yeah, Sharon came way later. I believe because of what we were going through, we delayed a bit in having the second born. Things were tough. I remember I would cook food and carry that food on my back and take the food to the UN offices. And then I get there, they're like, we have changed our minds. You
would be going to sell?
Yeah, I'll be going to sell.
Then they tell you we've changed our mind.
Then whatever you have carried, they change their mind. And then on my way back, I would give that food to the street boys. Yeah, give the food to the street boys. And be prepared for the following day. So we started, I would go to the UN. And then there's a time I was selling samosas in the city. I would go from office to office, selling the samosas. And I remember there's even another time I was arrested.
For that?
For that, because they found me carrying the food. So it was a rough stretch, very rough for us. Because at that time, I remember we were living in a house. We were paying 2,500. And let me tell you, to raise the 2,500 for rent, It was such a huge mountain.
Mountain.
Yes, the 2,500. I remember in that 10-year, that time we were, the 10 years Pastor is talking about, there's 1 year, like a full year, 12 months, 365 days.
Yes.
We stayed without touching 1,000 bob note. Like together like 1,000 bob note. Someone gives you 1,000 bob note.
The entire year.
The entire year. It was either 100, 200, 50 bob, 300, something like that. But 1,000 bob note, we didn't come across that.
And we would eat meat in weddings.
Would eat meat in weddings. We would laugh. There's this. They used to have this couples seminar.
I'm very sorry.
There's this the church we were in, Mom. There was a couple seminar. I mean, then the couples now would move from one home to another. We would wait for those meetings because we knew.
You will eat.
We will eat meat.
Meat, chicken.
We'll eat chicken. We'll eat meat. I mean, we would wonder, okay, how do people get meat from a butchery?
Can you imagine?
How do people get
Without
meat from?
killing
I
anyone.
mean, how do you even afford 200 bob to give to somebody in exchange of meat? How? It was very tough. Very tough. Tough in yes, in every sense of the word, because see now when in that space, God filters your friends.
Yeah.
There are
Totally.
no friends at all.
No, where are they?
I mean, you didn't even say like, you know what, today I'm expecting someone.
Yeah.
We would stay for long.
No friends, no family.
No family.
I think it's only my sisters
Yeah, no
that
family.
sometimes would pop in.
Yeah, no family, no friends. We didn't actually have friends then. Yeah, because now how do you even invite someone over for
The
what?
friends that you would have are the
Yeah.
ones you meet in the missions.
Yeah.
And you meet
And
then
then
leave
after
each
that,
other.
they don't even know where you've disappeared. Yeah.
They have no clue.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
during that time in Kadesh Barnea, that's 2-5 is Kadesh Barnea.
You used to call it Kadesh
Yes,
Barnea.
yes, we called it because Kadesh Barnea was the toughest wilderness. That's where Miriam died. It was tough. Mom, it was tough. Sometimes it would get so bad. I remember my wife at some point would go behind the house and just get some weeds.
Yes,
Some the
during the
things
rainy
that,
season.
that grew by
The
themselves.
tereres.
The tereres, the
Managu.
Yes. Mafakes, I call mafakes,
mafakes
something
and-
like that.
Yeah.
and the beans, you
Yeah.
know, beans.
Yeah.
The leaves of beans.
But they're very tasty.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah. So it would be tough. And when we were still in Gara, because
Yeah.
we started in Gara,
Yeah.
my mom passed on. 2 months after my mom passes on, we move into the 2-5,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
to the Kadesh Barnea.
Yeah.
When we were still in Gara, the place was surrounded by garages,
Yeah.
garage.
Yeah.
So I would go get odd jobs
Yeah.
in the garage,
Yeah.
in the garages.
Yeah.
So those cars, those old cars, you
Yeah.
remember,
Yeah.
they were not as complicated. So unaambiwa change the brakes,
Yeah.
change the brakes.
Yeah.
I would be told, you know, take that battery, go charge it, and put it here, take it to Kariako, charge it, bring it.
Yeah.
And then the guy would tell me, you know, change all these wheels,
Yeah.
you know, because they are not balanced, I'll
Yeah.
change, you know. So I got to know a bit about cars.
Yeah.
Then
And they
I'll
would,
be
of course, give you something.
50 bob, 50 bob, 60 bob. Then I'll take my wife, we would walk all the way to Kikomba. Kikomba, you know, from Gara to Kikomba is like, what, 45 minutes walk?
Yeah.
Then we would buy those matumbos, you know, the ones that are not weighed. It's
Yes.
The
like,
way with your
like
giants.
this.
With their hands.
Hold on. The matumbos, they don't weigh.
Oh, they are just like, yeah.
They just chota for you.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's this fish, it's called fish what? People,
Mgongoazi. Is it
Mgongoazi.
mgongoazi?
There's this fish that,
As they're removing the fillet.
in the estates, there's that fish that, you know,
Hey,
When they-
Mgongoazi.
When they remove as they are removing the, I think, and it was it was not, it can't be tilapia, it was Nile perch.
Yeah.
So when they remove the fillet,
Yeah.
there's a piece that remains that has little
Bones.
flesh.
Yeah.
So then that's what,
call it
those are the
mgongoazi.
special days. You know, when you're eating that fish,
Eh.
oh my good, that's when God
No,
has
That's
come.
what we
love
ate when we were
fish.
loaded.
That's what you eat when you
When we were
were
loaded,
when you were
60 bob.
loaded.
Eh.
That's, yeah. That 60 bob mom would go along with.
Eh.
I'd buy either that fish
Yeah.
and or matumbo,
Yeah.
and then I would get like 25 bob to buy her a
A
blouse.
blouse.
You know, it's kikomba.
Yeah.
Yeah, ya
So you
fagia,
would
fagia,
still
you know.
get
Yeah,
needed
Yes.
by a
yeah,
blouse.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Yeah.
He's a very good man. so you'd buy her a blouse and food.
Yes. Then we would walk back.
Yeah.
That's where our marriage now started to get tight.
Oh.
Because we would walk. We would walk. We only paid fare when it was absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
We couldn't help.
That's when you paid, but the rest of the time you would walk.
We would walk. We
Because
would walk and
the
chat.
fare
We
would
would
be
walk.
translated into something.
Food.
Yes. Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And remember now there are no friends.
Yeah.
There's no family. So we
So
are
it's just you.
Yeah.
two.
So you became
Oh, very tight.
Yeah.
tight.
Very
Yeah.
tight.
Because of course you're spending all your time together.
Yes.
And then you're sharing your troubles.
Then there's no TV. There's
Yeah.
there's
other thing.
what consumes your evening.
Yeah,
Nothing.
it's
It's just looking at each other,
Yeah.
talking, chatting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So something good came out of it.
Oh yeah.
So Kadesh Barnea now, you stayed there, and then there is another one you went to Adulam.
Yes. Now we left Kadesh Barnea.
Yeah.
I've started full-time ministry. I'm up and down. We stayed there like an year.
Yeah.
Then one day I'm invited to go and preach in Ongatarungai. Yeah. This time my wife is expecting
Sharon.
and she's almost getting ready.
Yeah.
And where we are, Kadesh Barnea is not a funny place. Crime, you know.
It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot.
You hear screams
In the night?
Yeah,
Where?
yeah. You learn to pray at another level. I'm coming from a revival meeting.
Yeah.
And I'm being dropped at 9:30, 10 in the night. I've come from Gong, you know, because I have to go preach.
Yeah.
And then dogs start to bark. You have to silence them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it worked, Mom. It's amazing.
You would what
I
what
would
would you
step
do?
out there, I would say, Lord, any dog that tries to bark at me, I command that its tongue sticks to the roof of its mouth.
And may the good Lord bless you. Remember, this is Woman Without Limits, and there's nothing that can stop you. Watch us here next week, same time. God bless.
The guy brings me
Eh.
a dressing table from the government quarters.
Wow.
So underneath, it has a government stamp. The following morning, I took a panga. I went to my neighbor, borrowed a panga. I took that dressing table and I'm speaking in tongues. We are having a bonfire. Katika jina la Yesu, wewe pepo maskini wa ufukara, you laana. I'm telling you, destroyed everything. Whatever couldn't burn,
You can.
I threw into the pit latrine.